How do you get commands into a computer? How do you get computer responses to an individual using a program? The building block we will talk about now is computer input-output. This is how we as programmers use basic functionality to allow a user to interact with our program. When using a computer, there are many ways to allow an end user to interact with a program. Game consoles, keyboards, and mice, just to name a few. In this class, we use a keyboard to interact with our Python program. This type of interaction has a name, TUI, or Text User Interface. It simply means that we type in responses to the program on our keyboard. The program uses that info to do something. Computer output for this class will be to a computer monitor. Every question you have for a user, every result you have from your program will be seen by the user on the computer monitor. Every computer interaction your program has will use one of two built-in Python functions, input or print. The input function takes what a user types on their keyboard and sends it to your running Python program. Your Python program then performs some task. To let the user see what your program has done, you use the function print. Print is how we get from the program to the screen. A function is a block of code that performs a specific set of actions. The function has a name, may take in information needed to perform the task, and may return information once the task is complete. One of the wonderful things about Python is it comes with loads of functions already built in, so we don't have to understand how to build functions before we use them. Functions, like everything in Python, have a specific syntax. The rules for using a built-in function are simple. For this example, we use the input function. You start by typing in the function name. Follow that by an open and close parenthesis. Then maybe you add a string. We will talk about when to add a string in a few slides. Input is a little special. Its primary function is to give the user of your program the ability to respond to prompting. That means the input function needs to be able to prompt a user. To do that, it has the ability to print a question to the computer screen. It also has the ability to read from the keyboard what the user responds. I'm sure you noticed something extra with the input function syntax in the previous slide. That's right, name and an equal sign is before the input function call. Once the input function reads the keystrokes from the user response, your program needs to store that information in RAM. We do that using a variable. So if I answer Lisa, Python stores that in the variable called name in RAM. The print function syntax is very similar to the input function syntax. You start by typing the name of the function, in this instance print. Then you add an open and close parenthesis. For print, you will always need a string inside the open and close parenthesis. The entire job of the print function is to display information to the computer screen. For our script, we want to display your name is plus what the user typed in. Fortunately, we can read the value from RAM by using the variable name. This way, we can retrieve the user response. The plus sign tells Python to add the two strings together. Let's put this all together into a script. How does Python read or interpret a script? Just like you read a book, one sentence at a time. For this script, Python reads the first line with the input call, displays the question to the monitor, and waits. Python knows nothing about the next line with print until you type in your name and the enter key. Then it continues with the print call. To summarize, Python uses the input function to let a user interact with your script. Input displays a question and waits for a user to type into the keyboard and hit the enter key. Input can store a value to RAM in a variable. The print function can read a value from RAM and display it to the screen.